That's debatable. 2016 actually.
So
she said there's a new fiber.
If it's really, so they definitely do have this. They do have to. And it's like
honestly, that's all.
That's so big.
Yeah. So it was like 5-5 after the 45-minute mark.
It'll probably be better if you had first and well, like no clock would be. You know what? No, there's.
People are gonna want to know.
We'll just change that.
Also, like tonight's game, it's like figure it out, get it right, and then go the rest of the game. Yeah. First half and second half, and then time is fun too. But the time runs through half. Is this straight right now?
Seems actually. I'm gonna play the videos.
Liz said I'm gonna be over there.
So now this is live? And then you bring it down. Okay. And is it, it's on right now. And then what was it to do? So how do you suggest we set up? How do you suggest we set up? Because we can do construction and it's
Just figures.
Maybe we can find a student table to go like forward in the middle. Just enough for two to sit on it. Just because it makes such a big difference to be able to like sit and have your stuff like in front of you. So, yeah.
I can hear it.
You said you can hear us. Yeah. Also, Should I just turn this up?
Yep.
All right, so the launch now wants to welcome all of our athletes representing your region in this year's competition.
All right, good afternoon.
Welcome to the
2019 Olympic Championships live from Edmonton. We're here at the very beginning of the tournament, the opening ceremonies here. Junior division. Exciting environment here for the opening ceremonies. Just take a second to give us a lay of the land.
We're being led by Ontario. Next up, we have Manitoba.
Local programs, premier programs out of always a contender in both the men's and women's junior divisions.
The women's team, of course, defending champions this year. They won their first title last year, which was very exciting for their program, so they'll definitely be a contender again this year.
BC marching down the hill now. Of course, always a huge turnout from BC, especially when the tournament's taking place in the western half of the country. 100 players at least from BC alone. Misfit program, a classic program started in, I believe, 2007. Of course, Bonfire from the North Shore, Savage from the Richmond area, and Vortex from the Fraser Valley and Surrey region. Always good to see the BC teams out in full force. Bobby, what do you make of the teams all in their team jerseys and sweaters? It's a pretty nice spectacle.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see the energy that they have. I think all the players are pretty proud to be here and represent their teams and provinces, and it's pretty awesome. This is my first opening ceremonies that I've been a part of, and the energy here is unbelievable. And you can see all the teams kind of swarming the cameraman as they each go past.
BC continues to march down the hill. The showcase game after the ceremonies will be Mischief from BC versus Titan from Quebec. Promises to be an exciting matchup. Eclipse program, top program out of BC in the junior boys division, marching through. Bobby, you can take this.
Now we have the members from Saskatchewan marching down the field, a small but mighty group. I know they're pretty excited to be here. It's still relatively new in Saskatchewan. We're still developing our junior program, so it's always really exciting when we are able to send a team to nationals.
Here's Alberta rolling down now. Far side of the field, the teams are taking their seats in the crowd, settle in and tune into the showcase matchup here. Alberta rolls through. Maritime provinces coming down. Great turnout for this opening ceremonies. Parents, fans alike.
Yeah, the bleachers were already packed before the juniors even headed over there, so lots of people turning out here to watch this first showcase game.
Newfoundland team here. Great to see a junior boys and junior girls team from Newfoundland. This opening ceremonies officially kicks off the 2019 Canadian Ultimate Championships. It's going to be in Edmonton for the first week and then Brampton for the second week. The Edmonton competition will feature the junior boys and junior girls division. And then switching gears on Thursday will be the adult single-gendered, women's, men's division, and the women's masters and men's masters division as well, taking place at this beautiful facility. Bobby, this, we've had a chance to look around the park a little bit here. Obviously a great facility, huge field site. And, what do you make of the venue?
Well, we can definitely see the efforts that the Edmonton Ultimate Players Association has been putting on, as well as Ultimate Canada. There's tons of sponsor tents around, There's the VC tent over there that I'm sure all the juniors are just waiting for it to open. There's a couple food trucks. There's kind of everything you need for an ultimate tournament. It looks like it's going to be a great week here.
Yeah, no doubt. And the junior division will get us kicked off and, get everyone warmed up. It's always a great event. And I've been a part of several of these now. And when it comes to quarter semis, finals in the junior division, it gets extremely competitive, extremely close, and always exciting. And that'll take us right through into sort of the pool play beginnings for the adult division, and then again ramping up for the weekend bracket play for the adult division, all taking place here at Ivor Dent on the 2 showcase fields. The one you're looking at right now that's packed with juniors, and then the one just behind us as well. So lots of exciting action to come in the whole week to come. So hopefully everyone's excited to tune in. Watch all the action.
Yeah, we'll be here all week. I think we have 3 or 4 games scheduled per day, so make sure you're keeping up with the schedule. Lots of ultimate to take in.
So the players find what's some available real estate there on the slope, just adjacent to the packed bleachers. What an exciting environment to play the opening game of your pool play in. With probably easily 200, maybe 300 people tuning in live, and then, the live stream as well. So, Bobby, maybe you could just comment on your, experience and what it kind of means to these players to have a chance to play in front of such a big crowd, especially at the beginning of a tournament. It might not be, there might be some teams who are used to playing in the pressure environment, teams that might be used to playing in the finals, and then but tonight's matchup, we have Mischief, T-Tan. Those are teams that aren't traditionally in the semis and finals, getting a chance to put on a show for 300 people or so.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge deal for all these kids. Like, I remember my first university or nationals was as a junior, and I just remember showing up to the tournament and being like, oh, this is a real big deal. So I imagine a lot of those juniors are having the same kind of moment right now with all of these people around. There's lots happening, and a super exciting moment for these 2 teams to play in front of basically the whole tournament and everyone that they're going to be matched up against throughout the week. It's probably one of the biggest crowds we're going to see here all week for the junior division, so super exciting, tons of energy in the air, and I'm really pumped for this week to get going.
I notice in, pressure games, you start to see, definitely at the beginning, you see a little bit of nerves, and, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with a little bit of wind gusting through and some rain potentially on the agenda, fingers crossed for good conditions. But as we tune down now to the field for some of the welcome addresses. Looks like this is the Edmonton Ultimate Players Association organizing committee lead here, taking a chance to address everyone that's come out and is excited to be here. Bobby, we look at the forecast for this week's tournament, and you see a lot of what we're looking at right now, which is medium to heavy winds, a little bit of rain in the forecast, and overcast. Maybe not exactly what you'd expect Edmonton in the summer, but probably good conditions to play in, but maybe not the best spectating conditions.
Probably not, but I think that's the nice thing about the junior division. Lots of the spectators are parents, so they're committed and here anyways. So I'm sure they'll be out. I think the wind and rain is also kind of fun too because it can be a good equalizer, and some of those teams that are maybe the favorites, this gives those underdogs a little bit more of a chance for the wind to just carry discs how they don't expect, and can lead to some upsets throughout the week and other exciting plays. So
Yeah, absolutely. Where there's adverse weather, you can expect that there'll be exciting plays, turnovers, mistakes, but also the heroics of hanging discs, big skies, huge layouts. So expect a little bit of everything, and we'll probably get a nice show of it in this first game right away.
I think that's the fun part of the junior division too. In the adult division, the players are a little more experienced. They've played in bigger games, whereas the junior division, they're just kind of getting going in this big scene. Maybe don't have as much experience, so a little more prone to errors. So we really can see those upsets and exciting games, but we also know that they're not going to give up on anything. So we can really see some great, exciting games.
Tournament photographers are out in full force. Classic Canadian Ultimate. See Jeff Bell over there on the far side. Nathan Kolakovic, the highlight reel master. Ed Kung down there at center field getting their snaps. So make sure to stay tuned to the Ultimate Canada Instagram and Facebook galleries, as no doubt Ulti Photos, Nathan and Ed will be putting up daily galleries, lots of exciting action. Find pictures of your kid or your friend, brother or sister in action. Showcase game that's on the agenda tonight will be in the Junior Open Division, Mischief and Titan. After the opening ceremonies, there'll be a slight break, and then we'll bring you that live action. They're just behind us, actually, to the side of us, warming up for their game, while the rest of the tournament soaks in the welcome atmosphere. Danny Saunders, Executive Director of Ultimate Canada, on the mic right now, welcoming everyone.
Can't quite make out what he's saying, but the crowd is excited.
He's just getting some love from his hometown, Winnipeg province. For the showcase game this evening, Mischief and Titan are the 2 and the 3 seed in the Junior Open Pool B. I believe they're going with power pools right off the bat. So Pool A is Toro, Vortex, Bonfire, and Mofo. And Pool B is Eclipse, Mischief, Titan, and Ignite. So the top 8 teams together at the top to start. And it should be an exciting and action-packed opening game.
Sounds like he's just announced that the junior division will be back in Brampton, Ontario next year.
Always exciting when you get to hear where the next CUC is going to be for those players that will be returning next season, the ones that aren't graduating, the ones that are hoping to go. Start to get a little thinking about what your next summer might look like, capping it off in Brampton. They're welcoming a few players from the local team out to the front. Looks like the young athletes are reading off the Spirit of the Game pledge prior to the tournament. Get everyone in the right mindset here. I think just a side note here, Bobby, as we head towards the opening game this evening, the wind picking up, the strongest it's been all day for sure. And just like you mentioned before with the crowd and the slope there on the far side, protecting a little bit, but as it's coming in right to left in your screen, I would expect it to play definitely a pretty big role in this first game, especially as nerves, with a big crowd and the nerves and the wind, I'd expect the beginning of the game potentially to be a little bit sloppy, and then as the teams figure it out, shake it off and get more comfortable in front of the crowd and start to be able to adapt to the conditions for it to sort of clean up, and it'll just sort of see who's up to the task early in the game to see who can take that early lead.
Yeah, I think you kind of expect the first couple points of junior nationals in front of a big crowd to be a little chaotic anyways. But yeah, with this wind, it is a little bit calmer down there, but any hucks or anything that goes up is definitely going to be affected by that wind. So it'll be really interesting to see how these junior players can handle it.
Talking about the observer staff, had a chance to listen to the head observer give a little talk today for the tournament, just talking about in their mind that the ideal game, the observers don't really have to be involved at all, just sort of indicating some in and outs that are close, and of course keeping the time, making sure the game's going right pace, but aside from that, not having to get too involved with the actual play itself. So we'll just have to see. No doubt we'll get a look at an observer staff here for the showcase game, but it was interesting to hear them talk in the meeting with the athletes about what they expect to see. And then of course a large part of being a junior at this tournament is learning how to play with observers. For many of them it might be their first time with that experience, making sure you stay on side, how to respectfully discuss fouls and then go to the observer or not, making that decision. That's not something that they're used to doing necessarily at this age. So, I always appreciate seeing observers being in the junior division and how they can contribute to improving these players and improving their understanding of the rules and the spirit of the game.
Yeah, and just one more thing for the junior players to think about in this opening game. It does change things slightly a little bit playing with observers. I think teams are a lot more wary of the time that they are keeping and just being offside, which is great for future games. I know the first time I played, it definitely made me think about it in future games. So very good for these juniors to get in those habits early on. So if they are playing games that don't have observers, or even with observers, they're already used to making those calls themselves and keeping within the rules of Ultimate.
Yeah, definitely, and I think the older you get, and if you're playing at more of a competitive level, you're going to get more experience with observers. So it is definitely good to learn that now and understand how to play with them, and it also, like you said, I think it elevates the ability to play without them when you have sort of a greater understanding of the rules, the expectations. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I definitely noticed playing more and more with observers, that when you don't have them, how much you stay to the time and how you stay on side better, and even though it may not be strictly enforced by observers that are actually there, I think we play to a higher level, and so it's definitely great for these young athletes to learn now, and as they get better and make senior teams and senior club teams and come back perhaps with a single gender or a mixed team to future nationals, that they're ready to play in that environment.
Yeah, a really great resource for these junior players to have. lots of them probably are newer to the game, and just to have someone there helping them clarify rules so they are playing correctly is such a great thing for them to have this early on in their career. So I think we're going to get some roster announcements and introductions here of our showcase game.
Yeah, I think the Mischief and T10 have had a chance to get some warm-up, get some touches, and and now we're going to get some roster announcements and get the players down on the field. And, I believe the game is scheduled to start at 7:15. Double check that time for you, for those of you who are looking to tune in. We'll find that in a few minutes, but, and shortly we'll be getting the game going, and then, on the first poll, the tournament will be officially underway, and a tournament that spans multiple weeks. If you're just tuning in, of course, the first week taking place here in Edmonton, kicked off by the juniors until Wednesday, and then senior single-gendered masters and adult, and then, of course, trekking across the country to Brampton for the mixed masters division. All right, so we're going to take a half-hour break and be back for when the game starts. Make sure to tune in. We'll share the link on Facebook and Twitter, and make sure you tune in for tonight's showcase game, Mischief and T10. Bobby and I will be on the mic, and we're excited to bring you the start of the Canadian Ultimate Championship.
All right, we're coming from time. Go on the mic.